What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for The Lines, joined as always by Nuwwarah, and we are going to talk Super Bowl MVP. We know it's the Eagles, we know it's the Chiefs, and we got some prices out there on these players. See if there's anything worth sticking in your account, as we always do here. Remind you to hit that subscribe button down below. Everything we do absolutely free, so do appreciate the support. So, Mo, when we take a look at this, Patrick Mahomes has won the last two, and he has won 3 of the last 5, so he is obviously going to be your short shot here. Plus 120 over at DraftKings, plus 110 over at FanDuel. As always, shop around, guys, on those numbers. Is there any chance in the world, do you believe, that there could be Patrick Mahomes fatigue at all? Like, is there any chance that he has a decent game and doesn't win the MVP?
It seems to be quite the opposite, to be honest with you. I'm not certain he deserved MVP against the 49ers the first time. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, but I think it's the opposite, where if he does anything decent, he pretty much automatically wins. I mean, this number is basically saying, if my rough math is right, I mean, not accounting for the vig here, but something like 80% chance Patrick Mahomes wins it in a Chiefs win. I think that's probably a decent bet, to be honest. I think that might honestly be low. I mean, he is 3 for 3 so far, like we said, and hasn't always been his best performances in these games. This Chiefs defense also, it's solid. It's not on last year's level, so that reduces the entire defense's equity, I think. In theory, this is a little bit of a tough matchup for Mahomes. He's always been extra elite when other teams blitz him. The Eagles have one of the lowest blitz rates. In reality, he has pretty much won all of his games against Fangio. There's a lot of stats floating around, 8-0, whatever it is. He does run the ball a lot, too, against Fangio's defenses because they clear out a lot of space by pushing their defensive backs back. I believe, I don't remember if I got this from somewhere on Twitter. I think it was maybe Aaron Schatz's preview, his early preview. He had that Mahomes has ran for 27 or more yards in 4 of 8 games against Fangio defenses, which obviously that's not like going to move the needle a ton, but if he gets a couple of big first downs, and especially if he is used near the goal line like he was against the Bills, that could help a lot.
Yeah, if you go back to 2015, guys, Tom Brady, Von Miller, Tom Brady, Nick Foles, Julian Edelman, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Cooper Kupp, Patrick Mahomes. Yes, a lot of quarterbacks, as you would imagine, in there. Whenever that Julian Edelman game, if you guys remember, it was basically no offense at all in that game when it went to Edelman. So that was kind of an aberration there. Of course, the Von Miller, we just don't see very many defensive players win this thing for sure. So let's go to other Chiefs players, and you can give me if there is a case at all. The next guy that we come to would be Travis Kelce at 15-1. I guess the case for Kelce could be if you got a box score like we got 2 weeks ago, where Mahomes threw for 179 and 120 of it went to Travis Kelce with a touchdown and all of that. I mean, I guess that would kind of have to be the case for a Kelce, right?
Yeah, he would win, I think. Do I think that's going to happen? Definitely not. I wouldn't touch Kelce around the 15-1 ballpark. I just don't think he has the juice anymore. That game was such an aberration compared to the rest of his season. I mean, we saw last year he turned it on in the playoffs, right? He came out and just looked completely different.
Yeah.
This season, he had the big game against Houston, but it didn't look different. Like, he's not moving any faster. Last year against the Bills, he's like toasting guys, running free into the end zone. Like, we haven't seen that in these games. Even his big plays against Houston, he looked very slow. Poor tackling by the Houston DBs, more so than like Travis Kelce doing anything special to extend those plays. Bless his heart. Love the guy. He's done a lot for the Chiefs, but I think he's cooked. And I would not touch Kelce at this price.
The next two Chiefs, and I will probably kind of pinch it off there as far as like guys that could realistically win it, are Xavier Worthy and Kareem Hunt. Xavier Worthy, market high of about 30-1 out there. Kareem Hunt, market high of about 60-1 out there. I mean, so if you told me you have to bet a Chief other than Patrick Mahomes, I think I would bet Kareem Hunt. And like the only reason I say that is because there's a world that exists where Kareem Hunt runs. We kind of saw the last 2 weeks. He's the number one guy right now. Like Pacheco is getting just a handful of carries in these games. And so I think that there is if we ran this game out 100, whatever, he's 60-1. If we ran this game out 60 times, there might be a game in which Kareem Hunt runs for 75 yards, gets 2 touchdowns because he punches it in from, we don't get the tush push with Mahomes like we do with all these other teams. So like Hunt punches it in a couple of different times, maybe catches 3 or 4 balls out of the backfield for 25 or 30 yards. And he is just kind of the majority of the offense for the team. If you ran this game out 60 times, could that happen 1 in 60 times? I think so. I think I'd rather play him at 60-1 than I would Worthy at 30-1.
Yeah, I don't see the case for Worthy either. So, I mean, look, he has a good chance of scoring a touchdown in this game. I would say that. The Eagles have struggled to contain opposing pass catchers in the red zone, and Worthy has really become a good red zone weapon for the Chiefs at this point. So I don't mind his chances of getting in the end zone, but the problem is when you're a Patrick Mahomes pass catcher, you're going to need big plays, I think, to move the needle away from Mahomes and towards yourself. I mean, yeah, in theory, Worthy can do that because of his speed. In reality, I don't think that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. The Eagles have a good secondary, and more importantly to me, they have a very good tackling secondary. Every time I watch the Eagles, I'm very impressed with their tackling. And I think with the amount of short stuff Worthy catches, he'd probably need to break a couple of them into long touchdowns, and I don't see that happening versus the Eagles. I just think they tackle too well and pursue too well for that. As far as Kareem goes, I don't know. I'd rather bet that at 60-1. I would agree. I don't know if it's super realistic, but I think I'd still rather have 60-1 on him than 30-1 on Worthy. I mean, it's going to be so tough for the Chiefs to get big plays in this game.
So if we look at the money line on the game, guys, it is about minus 130-ish out there on Kansas City right now. We just said Patrick Mahomes is plus 120 in one of the markets to win the MVP. I mean, Mo, is betting Patrick Mahomes to win MVP basically a de facto betting Chiefs on the money line, and should people be doing that instead?
It's pretty close. If I'm on the Chiefs, I'd probably just split my bet. I think the chances Mahomes wins in a Chiefs win is maybe higher than predicted. So, yeah, I think I would at least put some of it on Mahomes. I don't know if you want to start talking defensive players yet, but honestly, the Chief I'd be most interested in would be Chris Jones. Okay. If I'm looking away from Patrick Mahomes, he is just such a game wrecker. I think arguably he should have won MVP the first time they played the 49ers. I mean, he was absolutely ruining their offense for stretches of that game. You probably need like 2 sacks, something like that, and they have to be like high leverage sacks, ending drives in like a low scoring game. The Chiefs win 20-17 or something like that. I think that might be in play though with these matchups he could have. I mean, there's going to be either injured or backup players up front for Philly. We know Chris Jones likes to pick up the matchup he thinks he's going to win in a lot of these spots, so that enables him to get a few. I mean, yeah, he'll get double teamed, but we'll see how much the Chiefs blitz. If he gets some one-on-ones, I mean, he's going to win them, I think. I know this is a great line, but Chris Jones is amazing, and he was very, very good against Buffalo and Houston, so you know that he's the high-leverage king. I mean, I know that, like, that's the thing for the whole Chiefs team, but man, out of all the players, maybe Patrick Mahomes aside, but Chris Jones really, really lives for the high leverage downs. So I could see him stealing it in a low scoring game.
He is available at about 60-1 as well out there in the markets for MVP.